Can a single statement that you didn't even make but that you agreed with cost you a presidential campaign? Well, that is a question that Donald Trump is probably going to have answered in the coming months. It's been highly publicized, but it's worth repeating what happened this week with Donald Trump when he went on the New York City radio program called Sid and Friends, hosted by Sid Rosenberg. During the conversation, Rosenberg said that Doug Emhoff, who of course is Kamala Harris's husband, was in fact a crappy Jew and a horrible Jew. Here is the entire context of that conversation. It began with Donald Trump saying, quote, "A Jewish person that voted for her or him or whoever it's going to be, I assume it's going to be her, anybody that did that should have their head examined. If you love Israel, or if you're Jewish, because a lot of Jewish people do not like Israel, and they happen to be in New York, you know that." "Yes," Rosenberg agreed. And then Trump continued, "But if you are Jewish, regardless of Israel, if you're Jewish, if you vote for a Democrat, you're a fool, an absolute fool. They have let Jewish people down since Obama at a level that nobody could believe possible. You know, 15 years ago, the strongest lobby in all of Washington was Israel. It was by far the strongest. Nobody would say anything bad about Israel. Today, it's like nobody says anything good except Republicans, by the way. Nobody says anything good about it." So, Jesus Christ, let me stop right here because this man, like, he says a sentence and then he repeats the exact same sentence. He's already done it like 3 or 4 times in this quote that I'm reading you. It is so hard to read this man's quotes because his brain is a pile of mashed potatoes. But we'll continue. "Nobody says anything good about it, so it's a hell of a change. I assume you know exactly what I'm saying. Oh, I know 15 years ago you couldn't say a bad thing. Now you'd be out of office. Yeah, and today it's almost like, Schumer has become a Palestinian. Chuck Schumer is officially now a Palestinian." Then Rosenberg chimed in, and here's the horrible part. "It's funny, but it's true. It said he is. And they tell me that they saw this. Harris's husband, Doug Emhoff, Mr. President, is Jewish. He's Jewish like Bernie Sanders is Jewish. Are you kidding me? He's a crappy Jew." To which Trump said, "Yeah." "He's a horrible Jew," Rosenberg added, as Trump again said, "Yeah." Kamala Harris's campaign immediately came out and responded to this. They called Trump hateful, despicable, and said that the comments were disgusting and, quote, below the dignity of anyone. Donald Trump thinks he can score points with Jewish voters by denigrating them. He is wrong, the campaign said. Now, I don't know how familiar everybody is with the negative stereotype of the so-called bad Jew. If you're not, you can look it up, right? That has been a long-going thing, right? The good Jew versus the bad Jew. And it goes back centuries. It is a negative, demeaning stereotype. And here is Donald Trump. He didn't utter the words himself, but he agreed with them. He said, yeah. He said, yeah, twice. That Doug Emhoff, Kamala Harris's husband, is a crappy Jew, a horrible Jew. Those are the 2 phrases that Mr. Rosenberg repeated. Again, we're talking about an entire section of the global population that Donald Trump is out there insulting, telling them that they need to have their heads examined. And of course, Jewish voters, more than 70% of them do identify as Democrats. So Donald Trump is basically attacking an entire religion. So if you're okay with that, then I guess that's on you. But if you're like millions of Americans who understand this for the racism and anti-Semitism that it is, then make sure you remember that when you head to the polls this coming November. This should be a bigger story than it is, and it's already a fairly decent-sized story. But this should be the biggest one, and honestly, this alone should be enough to cost Donald Trump the 2024 election. Well, folks, we have crossed that 1 million subscriber milestone, but rest assured, we are just getting started here at Ring of Fire. So if you're not already, please do subscribe to the channel and make sure to like, share, and comment on the videos.